Have you ever stepped into a place so silent that the silence itself feels alive? Tonight, I will take you into one of the most haunted places I have ever entered, an abandoned hospital. A place where the sick were once brought for healing, but where many never walked out alive. Some say their voices still echo inside those broken walls, whispers that don't belong to the living. I had always been curious about urban exploration, old schools, forgotten houses, empty factories. But when I heard about an abandoned hospital on the edge of a small Southeast Asian city, I felt something different. Locals said the hospital was shut down in the late 70s after a violent civil conflict. Supplies ran out, doctors left, patients were abandoned in their beds. Some starved, others died alone in pain. Many bodies were never claimed. At the cafe near the bus station, an old man warned me. He said, "Don't go there at night. You'll hear the whispers, and once you hear them, they'll follow you home." I laughed it off. I thought it was just superstition, a ghost story to scare kids. But a part of me was unsettled. I arrived at dusk. The building stood like a skeleton, its concrete bones covered in vines. Broken windows gaped like empty eye sockets. The sky turned red as the sun sank, and shadows stretched across the cracked pavement. The main doors hung half open. Rusted hinges creaked when I pushed. Inside, the air was damp, heavy with mold. The smell of rot and iron, like old blood, stung my nose. I switched on my flashlight. Its beam cut across the darkness, revealing peeling paint, broken stretchers, overturned wheelchairs. My footsteps echoed down the long corridor, bouncing off walls lined with faded medical posters. Then I heard it, a whisper, so faint I thought it was just the wind. "Help!" I froze. My heart skipped. I turned the light toward the sound. Nothing, just shadows. I kept walking. Room after room, I peeked inside. Patient beds lined against the wall, rusted IV poles still standing, shattered glass crunching under my boots. My light flickered. For just a second, I thought I saw someone, a figure standing near the operating table, but when the light steadied, nothing. The whisper came again, this time clearer, a woman's voice, fragile, desperate. "Please, help me." My chest tightened. Every hair on my arms stood up. I tried to tell myself it was just imagination. Maybe sound carried strangely in these halls, but deep inside, I knew I wasn't alone. The farther I went, the more the air pressed down on me, heavy, suffocating. My breathing echoed in my ears. Then the whispers multiplied. Not one voice, not two, dozens, men, women, children, all overlapping, murmuring in a language I could barely understand. The voices rose and fell like waves, circling me, coming from every direction. I spun around, shining my light wildly. Empty halls, broken doors, shadows twitching on the walls, but no people. I tried to leave. Panic clawed at me. I rushed toward the main entrance, but when I reached it, the door I left open was closed, sealed tight. I pulled, shoved, slammed my shoulder against it. Nothing. Behind me, the whispers grew louder. Some turned into sobs, others into screams. Something brushed against my shoulder, cold, fingers that weren't there. I bolted, running down random corridors, stumbling, nearly falling. My flashlight beam danced wildly across the walls, until I burst into a wide room, the maternity ward. Rows of tiny rusted cribs lined the room, paint peeling, metal eaten by rust. And then, sound. Soft, fragile, newborn cries. One cry, then another, then dozens. My chest tightened. Tears burned my eyes, though I didn't know why. The sound of babies crying in a place that had been abandoned for 40 years. I stepped closer to the cribs. My light trembled in my hands. One crib shook, slowly, as if something invisible lay inside it. Then, my flashlight died. The room drowned in darkness. Only the sound of crying remained. Louder, closer, echoing inside my skull. And then, I felt it. Small, cold hands grabbing at my legs, tugging my pants, crawling up my body. I screamed. My hands swung wildly in the dark, hitting nothing. I staggered, tripped, crashed into a metal cabinet. The crying turned into wails, painful, piercing wails that tore through my ears. I ran. I didn't know where, my hands outstretched, searching for a way out. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would explode. Then suddenly, light. A door burst open. I stumbled outside, collapsing onto the cracked pavement, gulping the night air like water. I didn't look back. I just ran. My legs carried me into the hospital was a shadow behind me. The next morning, shaken but determined, I returned with 2 friends. I wanted proof, evidence that what I experienced was real. We entered in daylight. Dust floated in the shafts of sunlight. The building felt empty, silent. I led them to the maternity ward, or where it had been. But when we reached it, there was no ward. Just a solid wall of bricks, no doorway, no room behind it. As if the place I entered the night before had never existed. My friends laughed, thinking I had imagined everything. Maybe I was just tired. Maybe I dreamed it all. But I know what I heard. I know what I felt. The whispers, the cries, the cold hands. I never stepped inside that hospital again. But sometimes, late at night, when the world is quiet, I still hear them. Whispers, soft, fragile, calling my name. So tell me, would you dare to enter? Or would you listen to the warnings and stay far away? Because once you hear the whispers, they may never leave you.